Hi, you guys. Okay, this week in math, we're on lesson 34, and you're still doing shapes. This time we're going to learn about faces of shapes. So those are the flat part of the shape. So if it was a cone, it wouldn't be the rounded sides. It wouldn't be a triangle because that's not flat. It would be the bottom of it, which is a circle. So what they want you to do for each one, it says draw one face of a cube. So you just look at one of the flat sides and draw it. So a cube is made up of squares. Then this says draw one face of a cone. So the cone is the flat part, which is the bottom, which is like an oval or a circle. If you don't know because you can't see it, go find something in your house that's this shape and turn it over and see which one it is. This one says draw one face of a rectangular prism. Now the ends are squares and then these ones are rectangles, so you really could draw either one. Then on the back, it says what shapes are these faces? So they don't want to know cone or cylinder. They want to know the faces. So you have to look at the face at the bottom. And it says the cone and cylinder both have a blank shape. So you have to look at these and decide what shape that is. Then down here it says the rectangular prism and cube both have a blank face. So you have to look at the ones that they're kind of shading in, because this one's a rectangle and this one's a square. So you have to figure out which one they want you to look at by looking at kind of like the blue. And then you would write the word in. Then down here they give you real objects, and it says this rectangular prism and cube both have a blank face. So these two are the same thing up here, they just have real life pictures down here. For the green page, just like before, they want you to tell you what you know about a circle. So you can use words, pictures, numbers, show ideas if you want. They can just tell you if they want. Down here it says color the parts of the two shapes that are circles. So I would just take any color and I would color these in. Just the ones that are circles, just like that. Then on the back, they're going to do this all the way by themselves. So you would just read it to them. It says draw one face of a cylinder. So remember, that's the flat part. So whatever flat part of the shape, you're going to draw it right here. Draw one face of a cone, draw one face of a rectangular prism. Remember, this one has two different faces, so you get to choose which one you want to draw. For day 2, it says use pattern blocks to make a hexagon, trace or draw how you made it, color the shapes you made it. So this is hard because you don't have pattern blocks at home. So you could just think about different shapes. Like if I cut this in half, it would be 2 trapezoids. Or if I went like this, it'd be a trapezoid and 3 triangles. So you can skip it if you want, or you can try to figure out how many different shapes you can make with that. Then on this side, they're showing you different ways you can do it if you had pattern blocks, and then they want you to answer these questions. So it says you can make a hexagon with blank triangles. So you're looking at this green one right here, and you just count how many green triangles and write it right here. So you'll do that with all of them. And then the way that you did it in front, if you skipped it, you can just skip this one. But if you did the first one, how is your way like this way? Any of these ways? And then it says Buzz says that 2 triangles make a square. Boom says the shape is not a square. So it's this one right here. Who is right? How do you know? So you have to really think about this one, because a lot of times they try to move shapes so they look kind of different to trick you. So don't let them trick you. I want you to think of what a square is, right? 4 sides, 4 corners, all the sides are equal. Okay? So I want you to look at that one and decide, is that true? Draw lines and color to show how to make this trapezoid into 3 pattern blocks. Okay? So this is a clue up here. And then the way I did it up here is a clue too, to help you. Because it's kind of hard when you don't have the shapes in front of you. Okay, on this page, they're just going to draw with their pencil, a crayon, or marker. It says draw lines and color to show 2 ways to make this shape using pattern blocks. So it's the same shape, but you're going to do 2 different ways to do it. Like that would be 1 And then I could even do one like this. Use all triangles. There's lots of different ways. This one says color to show how to make this hexagon. So this one you have to use 3 shapes, and this one you have to use 4 shapes. So you can use some of the examples and even some over here that might help you be able to draw that. If it's too hard to do without pattern blocks, you can just skip it. Okay, and then they gave you some examples up here how to kind of partition the shapes to make them into different shapes. So you can use that to help. So this is show 2 ways to put together shapes to make a trapezoid. So a trapezoid is just half of a hexagon. So you can use some of the examples that we did to draw lines for that. Then on the back, it's the same thing. This says show different ways to make a hexagon. So there's 4 different ways. So they would need 4 different ways to cut them to make different shapes. And then at the bottom it says Buzz and Boom each have 3 rhombuses. Buzz says he can put them together to make a trapezoid. Boom says he can put them together to make a hexagon. Draw to show who is right. So you have to think about what a rhombus looks like and how many you would need to make each one of these. So if you don't know what a rhombus is, if you turn to this first page, it's this one that almost looks like a diamond, like 2 triangles put together. And then for day 3, it says put some cubes together to make a new shape. Tell how many faces it has. So this one, if you have like blocks, you could definitely just build it. You wouldn't have to draw anything and then just count all the faces around it. Or like Legos or something. On the next page, this is the same thing. They're just showing you how they did it. And there's a question here. And then this says, how was your way, like model it. So if you built something or did something, how is your way like the way they did it here? How can you tell the name of the new shape? How many cubes make up this shape? There are blank cubes that make up this shape. So this one's kind of hard because you can't see all of the sides. You can only see 3 of the sides. But remember, there's a bottom, there's a side over here, and a side over here you can't see. So don't let that trick you. Circle the shape you could make with 2 cylinders and 2 cubes. So you have to look down here and see which one has 2 cylinders and 2 cubes. On the back, this one's kind of fun. It's about making new shapes. So you would draw a line to whatever one they made. So this one's a cube and a cone. So I can tell right now this is a cube and a cone right here. So I would draw a line to it like this. Oops. Like that. So each one goes to a different one. Then for the example page, it's very similar. They're building with new shapes. So this one says circle the shapes that go to make this. So you're just going to look at the ones in the box and then circle all the ones that made this shape. On the back, you're going to do the same thing. And then on the bottom, it says how many cubes make this shape. And they're just going to count them and figure out how many. For day 4, you are going to be doing, you're going to be cutting shapes in half to make new shapes still. Use the shapes to make a triangle, draw lines to show. So if you had this triangle, how could you draw to show that you had 3 of those? So again, it's kind of tricky if you don't have pattern blocks. So just do the best you can. If you need to skip some, just skip them. Circle the shape you can make if you put the 2 shapes together. So if I put these 2 they look like L's, don't they? 2 L's together, which one of these could I make? And then on the back, they kind of have some, you can tell they don't have lines here. It says draw lines and color to show 2 different ways to make this shape with pattern blocks. So the same thing, you're just drawing lines to make different shapes. Which shows a square made with 2 rectangles, circle it. So which one is a square that's made with 2 rectangles? That's kind of tricky. Buzz says that any even number of squares can be used to make a larger square. Is he right? How do you know? This one you might have to draw. You might have to pick 2 or 3 numbers and make them squares and see if it makes a big square. See if he's right. He said even number. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Then for the examples, for this one, it says draw lines to match the picture with the number of shapes that make it. So on this one, they did it so easy with the different colors. So 1, 2, 3. So I would draw this to the 3. There's one extra. They do that so you can't just, the last one is the last one. You would always have one extra. For this page, draw lines to match each picture with the shapes that make it. So right here you have all of the words with the shapes, and then they have to figure out how they're kind of cut apart. And then down here, circle the shapes you could use to make this shape. So this one down here, which ones would you need to make it? And then for day 5, this is kind of like the quiz. So this one says use pattern blocks. So you can have them draw if you want. Some kids might know. So you can see if they could draw a bigger shape and then cut them into smaller pieces, or you can skip it. And then the back are ones similar to the ones that we did. So yeah, so that will be the end of this chapter. We only have one more lesson left. So it is going to be optional if you'd like to do it, but it's kind of cutting shapes into equal parts, kind of fractions like halves and wholes and fourths and quarters. I definitely think it is important. So if you don't do it now, I would definitely have them do it sometime over the summer. In 2nd grade, they definitely will review this. If you don't do it, nothing's going to happen, but it is something that I think would be good practice. So you don't need to turn it in, but it is the last chapter. So I think it would be good to do over the summer, or you can do it right after this. It would be kind of a nice little wrap up. So yeah, so if you have any questions, or let me know. We are going to be doing a shape hunt this week on Zoom. I'm so excited to do that. So we'll do like a 3D shape hunt. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.